Hello guys, my name is Nelson Viegas. I'm a high performance trainer, and today I'll bring another topic, another supplement that people ask me a lot, which is the caffeine. What are the really effects of caffeine in a human body, and if there is any type of fat loss effect or only for performance. So I will explain today, I won't say all the mechanisms, but most of the mechanisms of caffeine. Okay, so let's go. So the first, caffeine increases the basal metabolic rate between 50 and 150 kilocalories per day, so around 3 to 11% in high dosages, up to 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. So we have some degree of increase of basal metabolic rate, so you can burn more calories, but it's not that much. So caffeine doesn't have too much of that effect. For example, clenbuterol can reach 20%, salbutamol can reach 16%. So as you can see, the maximum that caffeine can increase is 11%, and it's in high dosages. Okay, so another thing that depends this effect, it's humans. So we express two types of liver enzymes from the cytochrome P450 that metabolize caffeine. So we have the CYP1A2-1F, which are the slow metabolizers and less positive response, and we have the CYP1A2-1A that are fast metabolizers and they have more positive response. So some people, they express more of the CYP1A2-1F, they are slow metabolizers, and some people, they express more the enzyme CYP1A2-1A. Okay, so it depends on an enzyme that you have in your. So this is a complex of enzymes, cytochrome P450, that we have in our liver. So we have several enzymes that metabolizes everything in our body. So these two enzymes are responsible for metabolizing caffeine. So some people express more the 1A, some people express more the 1F. Okay. So how really caffeine works? Caffeine competes, antagonizing effect, with adenosine receptors. The adenosine receptor A1, A2A, A3, and A2B in the brain. That promotes the release of dopamine and glutamate, promoting the excitatory effect also via GABA-A receptors. So the effect of caffeine, the primary effect of caffeine, it's to bind to adenosine receptors. So just make a very small explanation. What is adenosine? So we all know that we have ATP. So our energy in the body, most people call calories, but it's not calories, it's ATP. So when that ATP is broken down into ADP, there is a release of 1-phosphate. That reaction produces around 7.3 calories. Okay, so then that ADP is broken down into AMP, and AMP, it's broken down into A. What is this A? It's adenosine. That's why at night we feel more tired, because obviously our hormones are circadian cycle, but because also of the lack of ATP. So ATP, ADP, AMP, A. This A, this adenosine, binds to its receptor in the brain and promotes sleep. So when caffeine binds, antagonizes this effect, you cannot sleep. So you have release of glutamate, you have release of adrenaline, you have release of noradrenaline, so you have release of hormones that excites you. So that's one of the effects of caffeine. So another effect of caffeine, it inhibits phosphodiesterase 3 in the fat tissue and skeletal muscle, promoting lipolysis via activation of hormone-sensitive lipase. So this phosphodiesterase 3 inhibits hormone-sensitive lipase. Who is hormone-sensitive lipase? It's the second lipase, the second enzyme that breaks down triglycerides. So we have the ATGL, adipocyte triglyceride lipase. We have the hormone-sensitive lipase that breaks down the second one. We have the MGL, monoglycerol lipase. So the most important, it's the second one, the hormone-sensitive lipase, that it's blocked by phosphodiesterase 3. Caffeine inhibits that phosphodiesterase 3. You can see in some books, PDE3, it's the name of this enzyme. So another effect that caffeine has, also inhibits acetylcholinesterase, responsible for the breakdown of acetylcholine in the postsynaptic neurons, both nicotinic and muscarinic receptors. acetylcholine is the most important neurotransmitter for muscle contraction. So now imagine, every time you do muscle contraction, you have a signal from the brain. So this signal goes to the neuron, and between the neurons there is a space called synapse. So the acetylcholine is here and jumps to the other neuron where I have the receptor there. So we have an enzyme there called acetylcholinesterase that breaks down that acetylcholine. Okay, what happens is we cannot produce more muscle contraction. So if you somehow inhibit this enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine, we can have more and better contractions and longer trainings and better performance. So caffeine also induces calcium release via readrenaline receptors, improving muscle contraction by binding to troponin and removing tropomyosin to allow the cross bridges of myosin to bind to actin and contract the muscle fibers. So if you guys don't know how the muscle contraction happens, most coaches they don't know. So what you have is, we have the myosin and actin, okay? Imagine that you have, and the myosin has cross bridges like fingers. So the actin is here, the myosin is here. In the middle you have two proteins called troponin and tropomyosin. So troponin, it's blocking the tropomyosin. So when the calcium binds to the troponin, troponin removes the tropomyosin and exposes the binding sites of actin. So now the cross bridges of myosin can bind and do the muscle contractions. How it works, okay? So the effects of caffeine can be potentialized if it's taken 2 hours before workout with green tea or black tea that contains epigallocatechinogalate, EGCG, that inhibits MAO-B. MAO-B is monoamino oxidase beta, and CONT, catechol O-methyltransferase, that are responsible for the breakdown of all the catecholamines. So adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, etc. So prolonging the positive effects of these neurotransmitters. So obviously, if we inhibit, so if you use caffeine with green tea or black tea, we can inhibit somehow, not obviously full, but we can partially inhibit the MAO-B, the monoamino oxidase, and the catechol O-methyltransferase, making the dopamine last longer, so you have better feeling in your training, you don't feel tired so fast, so you have more adrenaline, so it lasts, the effect of caffeine lasts longer. Okay, so the last one, caffeine should not be taken with creatine at the same time due to the competition effect of the calcium release on the muscles. Better to take caffeine 2 hours before workout and creatine at night with some fruit juice. Any carb sauce can do, but I like to use cranberry juice. Okay? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys now understand what are the mechanisms of caffeine in your body. As a little bit of fat burning effect, not that much, increase a little bit your basal metabolic rate, but it can be potentialized by other things that is super important for training for performance. So just for you guys to understand, creatine and caffeine are scientific level of evidence A1. So are the only two supplements that really there are good scientific base to say they are good supplements. So only creatine and caffeine. Creatine to obviously to donate the phosphate from the creatine phosphate to the molecule of ATP. So when the ATP is broken down into ADP, the creatine phosphate donates the phosphate, and you can produce more reps. You can have better and longer contractions and become stronger. And there's also other effects in the brain, whatever, but it's not the subject today, okay? So I hope you guys understand this small explanation, and keep following me. Please like, please share, because it's very important for my work, because this is huge research that I do to bring the best information, squeeze information in short videos for you guys to enjoy, okay? Thank you so much.